Today, we discuss our favorite things about LaMelo Ball, and we live that high life today on the Locked On Hornets podcast.
You are Locked On Hornets, your daily Charlotte Hornets podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
In a minute, cuz we live.
It's Locked On Hornets. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network. It's your team every day, local experts on the #1 daily sports podcast network. Thanks for making Locked On Hornets your first listen every day. We are free and available on all platforms. That includes YouTube. If you want to take a look at us while we're doing this show, go to YouTube and just type in Locked On Hornets. That's our channel. Should be easy to find. You can also find me on Twitter at Walker Mail. Doug's on Twitter at Doug Branson, LOH. And you can find the show handle on Twitter at Locked On Hornets. This episode is brought to you by Truebill. Truebill is the new app that saves you money by helping you identify and stop paying for the subscriptions you don't want and you don't need. They can even help you negotiate better deals on those you do want to keep. So again, this episode is brought to you by Truebill. As I just teased, we're going to get to the HIVE Life at the end of this episode. No David today, had some other things to tend to. So are the guests just kind of leaving us now? I don't know what's going on. Didn't have Julian yesterday. Now David can't come on with us. I don't know what we're doing. Is it an us thing, Doug?
No, it's not anything we're doing. The blame never goes to us, Walker. That's what you have to understand. Now, the blame goes to the Hornets. You get an L and then an L and then an L, and then people say, bye-bye.
Are you going to leave soon because they're losing?
Yes.
I figured you would. Please beat the Hawks this weekend, because what Doug has done, it's really helped me with the stuff on YouTube. I don't know what I can't do the graphics. Please, God, LaMelo, save us and help out this podcast by keeping Doug around. And that would be one of the things that I have as my favorite things about LaMelo. This is kind of like a hybrid transitioning from one holiday to the other. We're doing the things we're thankful for, but also what I want for Christmas with LaMelo. Like, we have some things on our wish list. Maybe we want to see LaMelo get better at, but also some of the things that we're thankful for. So we're kind of in that middle transitioning. We're putting up the Christmas tree, but also we haven't taken down the fall decorations. This is how we're celebrating LaMelo right now. And so I can't wait to get into that in a second.
Well, as a father of a newborn, I'm very aware of wanting to appreciate things before you forget them. You know, you take a lot of pictures, you take a lot of video. My friends who already have kids were all about, hey, get some video of the sounds that they make, because you'll want to have that later on. And so I have an appreciation of that, and I really want to do this because when we get 6-7 years into this LaMelo Ball experience, and I think it's going to go even longer, by the way. I'm ready to kind of put down my chips on LaMelo Ball staying in Charlotte. Okay. But I want to remember why he was special when he first came into the league.
So you're the one that wants to look through the photo album 7 years from now and have this documented and look at how cute he was and the chubby cheeks he had as a rookie in the NBA.
Yeah, rookie, sophomore. I mean, I just want to appreciate these little baby Melo times.
Baby Melo. So appreciative of what he's been able to do. Let's talk about our favorite things. Doug, you want to lead us off? This was your idea. I wanted to say some of the things that you appreciated most. You're the dad. You're in the field. So give us the first thing that you think LaMelo just makes him awesome.
Well, I think really at the core of everything is something that's a little bit intangible. It's his confidence. It's his ability to basically stay. The big motto for the Hornets this year is stay ready. I mean, that's been LaMelo this entire season, and he just has outrageous confidence on the floor. And players that play for the Hornets and players that don't play for the Hornets have commented on how that confidence is contagious, and it runs through this entire team. And it's been really amazing to watch. And the one moment that honestly I would point to reiterate that is when he missed he kind of showboated on the layup a few games ago and got benched for it, or maybe benched for the foul right after. Regardless, he was benched. But he was immediately right back up cheering for teammates, and then he was put back in the fourth quarter and was amazing. And so I think confidence, you have to start there.
Yeah, I'm going to go with something that's not necessarily about all of his talent, although it kind of ties in a little bit. I love watching him play because of the body form. Like, he's just a big, lanky point guard, has that real fluid type long feel to him. And I tweeted this out. I think it was against Cleveland at the beginning of the season, where it's Penny like, it's Penny Hardaway like, but not near as explosive. Probably a little more fluid though, dribbling the basketball and just kind of gliding past people. It's just a little different. And so when we talk about his body transformation, we do kind of want to see him get more muscle. Maybe that helps him finish better at the rim. At the same time, I hope that doesn't take away the aesthetics of watching him play, because that guy is so fluid, kind of loosey-goosey a little bit.
Right.
I like that build, watching him glide down the court.
His lanky arms, I mean,
know.
it helps him steal the basketball, but it also helps him protect the basketball when he goes to the rim. You know, he struggled to finish around the rim. I think that will improve. But you can't teach long arms, and those things are hard to defend. It's hard to get at the ball. Like, he loses the ball at the rim a little bit, but I don't see a lot of people stripping him of the basketball, because I think he has an ability to, change positions in the air and use those lanky arms to protect the basketball.
Yeah, and I think sometimes when he loses it's kind of a little indecisiveness, tries to make some things happen, because he's usually, okay, I'm going to get in the paint, figure out what I'm going to do, and then dish it, and sometimes that leads to a turnover.
There's sometimes when I watch LaMelo Ball when I'm like, you don't have to quadruple clutch every time you go up for the layup.
Yeah.
Like, you can just go strong, maybe make one little change and then put that thing up. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot. If you watch these layups, there is a lot happening. It looks like I don't know what it looks like, but it's confusing sometimes.
No, it's definitely a lot. I'll give you another one real quickly. He's made the dance UFO emojis a thing.
Okay.
That's his trademark. That's what he likes to do, and he puts that out there. The disco guy, the UFOs, the hearts. I think it's the double heart he likes to go with. That's his thing, and now people are putting that out there anytime that there's a nice LaMelo play. And so I'm like, hey, that's cool. You made some emojis I don't think are used a ton, maybe besides the double heart. Now he's making it a part of everybody's text and everyday life.
Well, so what you love specifically is his brand awareness.
That's right.
Because
That's
his
right.
brand is not from here, that he is an alien. And I think that ties into his confidence that, no, I'm so confident in my ability as a basketball player that I'm not even human. Like, I'm above human. I am superhuman. I am alien. I am not from here. And you love his brand awareness to tie all of that in. Even the emojis feed back into the brand.
That's correct, and I appreciate you making sense of what I liked so much about that, and you speaking for me, because you said that better than I did. You're totally right about that. Did you want to lead us off with something else, and then maybe we could get to a couple of other ones in the second segment? What's another one you have?
Well, it is his otherworldly anticipation of other teams passing the basketball. Sometimes it leads to him gambling on plays and it leaves the entire defense scrambling. I understand that. But at the same time, I mean, his ability to understand what another player is thinking, almost it seems like a fraction of a second before they even think it. And he's in the passing lane, and it turns in to a transition basket for the Hornets. It is unlike anything I've seen, certainly in a Hornets uniform.
Yeah, I mean, LaMelo, anticipatory defense, the offense, the guy knows where the basketball is going to be so many different times. I do want to talk a little more about what he does on the court. Besides the tweets, besides just his natural build, want to talk a little more about what he does on the court coming up in the next segment. Do want to bring to you the attention on Truebill. It's the new app that helps you identify and stop paying for subscriptions you don't need, want, or just simply forgot about. On average, people save up to $720 a year with Truebill. Because companies make subscriptions hard to cancel, Truebill makes it incredibly simple. Just link your accounts, and Truebill will cancel your unwanted subscriptions in just one tap. And your Truebill concierge is there when you need them to cancel unwanted subscriptions so you don't have to. Truebill also has over 2 million users, and they've helped save them over $100 million. That's insane. Don't fall for subscription scams anymore. Start canceling today at Truebill.com/LockedOnNBA. Go right now, Truebill.com/LockedOnNBA. It could save you thousands a year. Truebill.com/LockedOnNBA. Let's get to some more LaMelo stuff coming up next on the Locked On Hornets podcast.
This is Locked On Hornets.
All right, so we've got Al, or we've got the question, how did Miles do that? Can you help us end this debate with so much, an unbelievable amount on the line?
Doug, I respect you to the nth degree, but Walker, I'm telling you, it was just, it came, every single person who saw that reacted that way. Some of us just were tighter than others, and I just had to release this from my body.
It's time for more of the Locked On Hornets podcast.
We've got Hive Life coming up in just a moment. We've got some more of our favorite LaMelo things coming up now. Also a preview of this game against Atlanta, the only game that they have this weekend. 4 days rest. Hopefully they get their bodies right and they're able to win off of that kind of rest against.
I'm jealous.
Hey, respect.
I haven't had newborn, no rest.
Just zero.
If I get anything, by the way, I just want to let the listeners know, if I get a stat wrong, if I get a date wrong, if I get a moment wrong, baby.
Is she sleeping? Is she keeping you up at night big time, or is that what's going on?
Time.
Oh, no. Yeah.
I'm a sleepy.
Look, same responsibilities essentially. I've got a puppy, you've got a newborn baby. I mean, it's basically the same,
It's the exact same. I understand why when I made those comparisons pre-child that my friends who had children wanted to strangle me. It's completely different.
You want to leave the podcast for different reasons now than just the Hornets losing. You just can't stand to talk to me anymore after that comment. Fair enough. Let's get to some of our other favorite LaMelo stuff here. One of the things that are actually on the basketball court here too, Doug, I was talking about this on SportsCenter CLT. You look at the sample size of LaMelo now, the 3-point shot, hitting a clutch bucket against Milwaukee, going for a career high 8 3-pointers. It's not going away. And me and Nada talked about this. Okay, he shot well his first year, which was great. I mean, that's a great sign. Even the LaMelo truthers, as I've said a million times, didn't see that percentage staying what it was. And we were a little wary because you can see these guys have a dip in 3-point percentage as their years go on. Sometimes body transformation, right? Like sometimes you had too much muscle, you don't account for it. And that's something to take note of if he does start to look bigger and those arms aren't just lanky. They actually got some muscle, kind of like Giannis. Either way, is it okay to say that he's just kind of a bona fide shooter now? Like, are we entering that realm where you can just go ahead and believe in the shot as it stands currently? Yeah, this is just what he's going to bring to the table every single year.
Bona fide, certified. I put the certificate in the mail yesterday.
Okay.
He is a certified shooter, and after that shot that he hit against Milwaukee, little walkie talk here, he is almost a certified gamer. I'm pretty close. I know
Okay.
I'm a little stingy with it. I need to see a few more clutch shots go down, but yeah, he's working on certified gamer. Yeah, I think the shot's real. I think it's crazy that it seems like he shoots better the deeper he shoots. Like if his foot is anywhere near the line, I'm a little worried about it. But if he's 2 feet behind the line, I'm like, yeah, go for it. And the other thing is that imagine what that shot does for the offense when they have like a legitimate center, somebody who can convert offensively at the center position, pick and roll threat. I mean, it's going to be nuts. I mean, he's creating space down there. The Hornets can't finish at the rim right now, but when they can, it's going to be amazing because there's going to be all kinds of space.
Right. So when you're a little dicey coming into the league regarding what might be the most valuable skill in the NBA, and different people can make up different stuff for it, right? If you're Giannis, we know that there are outliers that make you special. It doesn't mean you can't succeed, but we know that the NBA has transitioned into an era that puts such an emphasis on shooting. And when your point guard can't shoot very well, that hurts you. Like you can get away with it with a slasher, a small forward that's able to get to the basket whenever they want and finish at such a high level. That's different. But when your point guard can't hit threes, it hurts you a little bit.
Yeah.
But LaMelo can, and he might be the best passer in the NBA, certainly in tier 1. He's also getting others involved, and the fact that he's shooting 39.1% from 3, he shot 35.2 last year. That's after the wrist fracture. Before that, he was shooting like 38 the 10 games after that, and you could see him grabbing constantly, even in those last 10 games that he played. Man, 24 games this year, 51 last year. I mean, I'm kind of with you, Doug. I didn't expect it. I was hoping for a career that he could get to 35 or 36 and stay there. Right now, to be frank, you look at the last 2 seasons, it's 36.8. But the fact that he's here, I think this is more true. I think it's more real than it's not.
Well, his 3-point percentage has gone up, I think, like 4.5 percentage points, and his 2-point percentage has gone down. But he's also shooting less free throws, but he's making them at a higher clip. So there are all these things that are sort of counterbalancing forces. But if you look at it, it's strange. His effective field goal percentage from year 1 to year 2 is unchanged, but his shot outlay essentially is sort of fluctuated from the previous season. And honestly, I think all of that stuff is going to eventually even out. But the one big, I think, variable that we haven't talked about yet is his body and ability to transform. Well, we talked about it a lot in the previous episode about Giannis. Does he have the best big man body in the league? That body transformed pretty significantly. I think the reason he fell in the draft was because he looked lanky, and you were like, I don't know if this guy can take a hit in the NBA. LaMelo, does he get stronger? Does he get bigger and remain faster and just as crafty? That could be a game changer.
And I think he has the frame, and that's where you get a little scared because the shooting is real right now. It does mess with people. If you put on too much weight, if you have to figure out what the right ratio is of working on your shot. Hopefully that is able to coexist with one another.
If you're a human being.
Yeah,
but LaMelo Ball is not from here.
That's right. I did want to
mention alien.
Before we get to HIVE LIFE, the dancing, I like that dance. That's a good one. They should, are those antennas?
I was just for the listeners. I was just dancing as an alien. If you want to see that, make sure to check out our YouTube channel.
Go to YouTube, and you can check out Doug's dances as an alien. Before we get to HIVE LIFE, I do want to discuss something else because here we are. He's a good three-point shooter. He's been a good three-point shooter the last 2 years. But, Doug, when we talk about entering a different realm, him being a true superstar, him being a all-NBA player year in and year out, at least being considered every time, because we agree he's not there now. I mean, he's an all-star. We can talk about him playing like an all-star, even with popularity helping him so much. I think he's deserving with his play too. But if you want to get to that level where you're maybe flirting with MVP contention, something like that, then you're going to have to shoot better inside the perimeter, maybe clean it up on defense as well. And that will allow you to get those types of accolades, and maybe that comes with the body transformation also. But this leads me to a question that was on the afternoon rush on 7:30 The Game. Plug right there.
Shameless plug.
Shameless, ESPN Charlotte. Bobby asked the question, are we going to get to a point where LaMelo is the best athlete in Charlotte's history? And the fact that we're asking that now, and there's not a ton of competition either. Kemba, we know what it was with Kemba. We talked about him a lot, and we love Kemba here in Charlotte. We know what it was, 3 All-Stars, never really better than that. Alonzo wasn't here long enough. Larry wasn't here long enough. And then you go to the Carolina Panthers, which reign supreme. Football is just by far the most popular sport. Cam Newton right now is the most influential athlete in Charlotte history. You play the most important position in sports. You win an MVP at it, and you bring your team to a Super Bowl, and you go 15-1. You haven't passed Cam. But if you're a basketball player that's able to compete with all of that, then it's the entertainment LaMelo brings. Mm-hmm. It's winning an MVP. It's getting Charlotte to a conference finals at least, and then who knows from there. What we'll see. But man, the fact that question is being asked and maybe being anticipated to some degree, that's just another thing I love LaMelo, that we have that kind of hope, and it's not absolutely ridiculous.
No, it's not crazy to think that LaMelo could take the Hornets to a conference finals, maybe even a finals. Cam lifted the Panthers into the Super Bowl with an MVP type of performance. If LaMelo seems to be on a trajectory that would lead him to a most valuable player award at some point, and we've seen Giannis take a small market and drag them to the finals. A lot has to go right. A lot, you have to avoid a lot of things going wrong, but it's not out of the realm of possibility. You're totally right. I would say, to me, when I think of like greatest athletes, I think of players that do stuff that you shouldn't be able to do, or stuff that just doesn't make sense. And for me, that's Cam at the quarterback position, the way he ran the ball, and his physicality and his ability there. And to me, it would be Larry Johnson. The way he did things from that position, you just shouldn't be able to do them. And then I would go to LaMelo. I think Alonzo Mourning excelled at all of the things that a center should excel at, and a little bit more. So maybe you throw Zoe in there too. But I mean, those are the players I think of immediately.
And you can't have the sour grapes that you have with Zoe. When I look at
you got to throw Jamal Mashburn in there too. Why not?
Have to. I look at the top 30 list, but besides my biggest regret not putting Jamal Mashburn number 1 in Hornets history, one of my biggest regrets with that list, probably a lot if I look back at it. Everybody's mad at me, of course, but putting Zoe ahead of LJ, like kind of with my criteria, I shouldn't have done that. Like he was the better player. I mean, but Zoe not having been here, sour grapes, and LJ being really good too. Like it's no knock on what Larry Johnson was able to do. I think you're right with putting LJ up there as well. But the thing is, real quickly, like it's not even just local radio talking about that. They got that question because I believe Dan Patrick mentioned it, talking about how fun that Bucks Hornets game was. Watching Giannis and LaMelo go at it. It's Dan saying, LaMelo, he's going to contend for an MVP award at some point in his career.
No, look, this is real. It's not about the Ball name because this is not happening around Lonzo. No. This is real. It's not just Charlotte. It's Giannis jersey swapping. It's LeBron making comments. It's the entire NBA taking notice.
All right, let's talk about Built Bar, the MVP of the energy bars. This holiday season, grab the protein bar that tastes like a candy bar, or even better than a candy bar. Built Bar filled with so much holiday goodness. It's rich with decadent flavor, covered in chocolate, but amazingly low in calories, sugar, net carbs, and fat. But it's also high in protein. You get the best of both worlds. It's delicious and it's healthy. There's so many flavors, too. You'll have a hard time choosing. Will you have raspberry or mint brownie, cherry or double chocolate, cookies and cream or peanut butter brownie? I mean, I'm ready to eat one right now because it's the season of peace and love. Don't bring up your favorite Built Bar flavor at family parties. People are so passionate about their favorite flavor, they'll fight you and they'll fight for it and things could get out of hand. So make sure you bring all the different flavors so you have one to pass out for everybody's favorite. Like some of the marshmallowy treats around the holidays. If you like those, you need to get your hands on Built Bar Puffs too. They're light, fluffy, and marshmallowy through and through. Different flavors, all covered in chocolate as well. They taste so good, you won't believe that they're filled with protein. Go to Built.com, use promo code LOCKED15, and get 15% off of your order. Let's live the Hive Life. Coming up next on Locked On Hornets.
This is Locked On Hornets.
Segue. Yeah. It's called a radio segue.
Well, and I saw
I'm feeling better, by the way, if you didn't notice. I didn't want, I'm a little bit of a private person, so I don't talk about my health issues often on the show. But now I'm healthy, and I think people are going to notice a change in me today. So I just wanted to kind of go ahead and get that out of the way. That Doug is unleashed on this show today, so watch out.
It's time for more of the Locked On Hornets podcast.
What was happening that day?
I don't know. Robitussin. Robitussin was happening.
You were living that high life. I don't think you were living the Hive life. You were high on life at that point with God knows what was in your system. Let's take a look at this Hawks game before we do live the Hive life, Doug. It's the only game of the weekend. They get a lot of rest, as we've talked about. Both teams come in 2 games above 500. The Hornets are 13-11, having lost 3 straight. The Hawks are 12-10 at the moment. They're coming off of a win against the Indiana Pacers. In fact, they've won 4 of their last 5. The only loss they have is to the New York Knicks. What kind of things are you looking for in this contest?
Well, they won 4 of their last 5, and then they won 4 before that. So they've won 8 of their last 9. They were that Charlotte win that they had back on November 20th was their 4th in a row. They would win 7 in a row before losing a defensive battle against the Knicks. I mean, it's all about Trae Young right now. So the Trae Young has scored 30 or more points in the past 5 games. The last time he didn't score 30 was that win in Charlotte. I think it's always going to be about containing Trae, but I think the bigger story is what do you do about Capella, who is just dominating the boards right now. And you saw it in that first matchup. The Hawks knew, just like I think every NBA team knows, that you can easily attack this team inside, and they went to Capella pick and roll over and over again, and the Hornets were not ready. I think they'll be a little bit more ready this time. I think Capella scored 20 points in that game. It was a balanced scoring attack for Atlanta. You got to chip away at some of those opportunities for Capella, and you have to try to keep the guards in front so that it doesn't kick out to Herter, who can hurt you. Those are, I think, the big keys to this game.
Well, and again, the Trae Young, I feel like the Hornets have kind of defended him pretty well. You look at him, he didn't even have 20 points in this last one. I think he came up with clutch buckets in that last game they played, but scored only 19, only hit a couple of three-pointers out of the 7 that he took. You mentioned the big man. My thing is, Clint Capella plays 24 minutes and goes 10 of 11 from the field to score 20 points. You go back to the first game, Sabonis, who's a different type of beast, but has like 20 points in the first half. We go to the Wizards game where Daniel Gafford is perfect from the field and then eventually misses one. Can we force a big guy to miss 3 shots at least? Can you not go 100% from the field? Can we not make you allow you to go 90? Is that too much to ask?
That's a stat to watch for. The Hornets win this basketball game if they can force Clint Capella to miss 3 shots. All they need are 3 missed shots. If you see the 3rd missed shot, the Hornets are guaranteed to beat the Atlanta Hawks. You heard it here first on Locked On Hornets. A couple of other factors. They may get Mason Plumlee back. I don't know if we've heard a declaration on that yet. They may get Cody Martin back. I don't know if we've heard a declaration on that yet. But this Hornets team... This Hornets team has been hurt, and they really can't miss anybody. I mean, you need this whole team healthy in order to kind of give their best effort, especially defensively. So I'll be looking at that. And then there was one other thing that I had on this game.
Well, while you're looking for it, I can say that Miles Bridges also scored 35 in their last outing.
I believe it was career high.
Yeah, 35 points, 10 rebounds too, and only 1 turnover. Really good game for him. Still missing the 3-point shot, missed a couple free throws. So you hope again that's a trend that you want to stop. But Miles still scoring 35 in that one. Wonder if he can have another big game.
I can't remember the last thing. It's baby. Blame it on baby.
Yeah, that's what I'll do. All right. Hope you can remember some of the things that you have for the Hive Life. What's got you living that right now? Well, let's discuss it here on the Locked On Hornets podcast.
Boop.
What a beat for the Hive Life. All right, Doug, lead us off. What's got you living that Hive Life?
Oh, man.
How many times can I say it?
Yeah, I think it's Miles Bridges getting his dunk groove back. I mean, I probably should lead with LaMelo, but we've been praising LaMelo the whole show, so I'm going to switch gears and go to my man Miles, who just dunked all over Giannis Antetokounmpo 3 times. I called Miles Bridges sweet potato casserole because Giannis Antetokounmpo kept going back for leftovers, baby.
It's a great comparison. I'm going to go with the jersey swap, and we talked about that a little yesterday. One thing we failed to mention, though, Giannis talked after the game and said that the NBA took the jersey away from him. He said that he had the jersey, and then somebody came up to him and decided that it was the NBA's to keep. And I don't know what that means. If that means it's a special moment and they want it for something they're going to do. I don't know if it's the first career night for LaMelo. I don't even know how that's possible, but I don't know why they took it. But Giannis said that the NBA took the jersey away, and he said he wanted another one because LaMelo played so well.
Could be a supply chain issue. We only make so many of these. We can't get any more. The boats can't come in to bring these in. They told.
We're not having any of that.
I love that the NBA came in and told Giannis, hey, if you want a jersey, hit the fan shop.
That's right. Yeah, pay for it with your own money. You make enough of it. You just got that big time extension. We're not going to give you one for
shop,
free.
Giannis.
Absolutely. All right. What's this?
Hornets.com/shop.
What's something else you got, Doug?
Oh, man, LaMelo Ball knocking the 3-point shot out of bounds. I mean, my goodness, I was waiting for it. I've been waiting for it all season. I wanted to see LaMelo with the ball in his hands clutch. I was a little disappointed by his clutch performance in that loss to Houston in overtime, but he got his second opportunity after the Gordon Hayward missed long two. It's like, hey, let's give it to the franchise. Let's give it to the franchise, see what he can do, and he did it. Give me Hive Life, baby.
There you go. How about Kelly Oubre's last 5 games? His shot making. And we discussed it. When Kelly is helping the team,
Stangin'!
He's making shots. Scored at least 18 in every single one of his last 5 outings. Has scored 20 in 4 of the last 5 outings. Hitting a better percentage from 3. Actually just shooting really well from the field overall, and has helped this team off of the bench. And so, Oubre, how about that? Giving me some Hive Life this week.
How about that? Hit the sirens, baby. Tsunami, storm warning. Evacuate the beaches when Oubre checks in the game.
Are you on Robitussin again?
I just took some. Baby.
Okay, great. That's
it's
excellent.
It's the baby.
I'll give you another one. All right, so this one includes Eric Collins. Speaking of, the baby, I don't want to wake the baby with this next call with Eric Collins, but this happened in the game against Milwaukee where Miles Bridges first dunks on Giannis, and he kind of it's like 1.5 times that he dunks on Giannis in this game, but certainly there was one that was just vicious. It was one of the more physical dunks we've seen from him, not as high flying, but Eric Collins gives us one of the more unusual calls that we've heard, and this coming from a guy that gives us a frequent amount of unusual calls. Here you go, Doug. Let's hear what Eric had to say about Miles Bridges and his first dunk on one Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Oh, we'll see if I can get it working here. Here we go.
Let's
hear it now.
Welcome by the knowledgeable fans here in Milwaukee. Oh! Miles Bridges just put the freak in the basket. Welcome by the knowledgeable.
Put the freak. I'll get rid of this. Get rid of this NBA footage before we get fined by the NBA.
Get rid of that. Don't do that. Yeah, there's nothing to see here, Adam. Nothing to see here. Yeah,
but you heard the call there. Freak in the basket. I don't know. We got to get EC back on the show and find out where that originated from.
That sounds like the song title to a porn song in the late 90s. That's Freak in the Basket.
With the freak in the basket, baby.
It's just that was hilarious. I didn't expect him to say that when Miles dunked on him. But again, it's just this big ball of energy that is released when Eric gets excited. All right, you got something else for us, Doug, to close this out?
I feel like we should end on our friends who are shouting us out, the fans, the listeners. Let's end there because I think that's the biggest thing giving me Hive Life now is knowing that you all are listening, you're sharing your Spotify Wrapped, most listened podcast with us on Twitter at Locked On Hornets. If you have I'm an Apple Music person, so you're all making me jealous with your Spotify Wrapped playlist. Right. But yeah, shout out to Isaac, shout out to Amanda, shout out to. There was one more, Buzz City Life.
City Blast. Yeah,
Buzz City Blast, thank you.
I think he listened 180 times, beating the 169. And then Isaac was, it's funny, those guys are in competition. They're saying, they're cheering each other on.
Well, I'm sure there's somebody listening right now that has Spotify that's listened to 200 plus episodes. If you have, share it with us on Twitter at Locked On Hornets. We want to see it. We appreciate it. I mean, you guys... the listeners that have been with us since the beginning, the listeners that are just joining us now, you have made this transition to YouTube possible, and you're taking us to new heights.
Oh, God. I'm such a sap with this kind of stuff, man. It means the world to me. I appreciate it. I'm such a sap. When Nada's leaving, Doug coming back on. I'm so sensitive, Doug.
Speaking of, I hear we might get a little Nada appearance.
I'm trying. We'll see.
Right,
Hopefully Nada's able to join us maybe next week, maybe early next week. It's no promise, but that's what I'm trying to figure out, trying to get to happen with us here on the Locked On Hornets podcast. And we do appreciate all of the mentions on the Spotify Wrapped post. We're getting multiple. We're getting a lot. We really appreciate that. So thanks again for making Locked On Hornets your first listen every day. Have a great weekend. We'll be back with you on Monday. Maybe we'll have a guest that you're familiar with. Who knows? Now make your second listen Locked On Bets, your daily one-stop shop for all your gambling needs. Locked On Bets, hosted by your boy Q, with expert analysis and insight from Lee Sterling. It's free and it's available on all platforms. Thanks again for hopping on with us. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll be back with you on Monday.
Put that freak in the basket this weekend. Yeah.